She's finished after study. How's it going, Warrior Council? I really hope I've got it working correctly this time. I'm going to try to stay in tune with actual comments that are being pulled in live, but if not, just forgive me. I do not do Facebook Live very much. But this is such an important topic that I kind of want to go ahead and cover it. So today we're talking about an introduction to conversion rate optimization. So if you're not familiar with conversion rate optimization, it's the practice of turning a visitor into a customer, whether or not that is, well, it's all going to be based on goals. So what do you actually want your customers to do? When people visit your website, what do you want them to do? And all of that's based on how you're established, right? If you're an e-commerce store, then naturally you're going to want them to purchase a product. If you have consulting services, then naturally you're going to want them to register for your consulting services. If you have a blog and that's your main focus, you're going to want them to subscribe to your blog. So all of these different things are various goals that we use to track, to track what customers are doing, where they're going, how they're interacting with your website, if they're actually converting, so making the transition from visitor into customer, and the other one is where do they fall off the website, which that one is actually called a bounce rate. So how fast are they leaving your website and where are they leaving your website? So think of the concept of a hiring manager. All of us have probably had to build or create a resume at one point or another. And so when you first are creating a resume and you have someone trying to help you with the process, the first thing they tell you is to make sure that your resume passes the site test, right? And so if you're not familiar with the site test, you get absolutely 1 freaking second to impress the hiring manager. If you can't do it in 1 second, then you're done. That's how long you get. The initial site test is the biggest test, the biggest hurdle that you have to get across. And if you can't get past that hurdle, then you're never going to get a job. So whenever that translates into business and our website and our digital online presence, what we need is to make sure that we're clearing that first hurdle, because it's the biggest hurdle. And the way that we do all of that, so first we got to clear that first hurdle, and then we got to make sure that they're navigating correctly to the places we want them to be. And sometimes we'll find that people are naturally drawn to specific elements, and so we can modify our position there. And I have a good example of that coming soon. So this system here that we're using here is called HotJar. It's a visual analytics system. They have a free plan, which is really awesome. So everyone out there could have a HotJar account for free. It's really awesome for the price of $0. Whenever I'm not being paid to conduct CRO, I'll use HotJar. Whenever I am being paid to use CRO, I actually use something a lot more complex than HotJar. But HotJar has been around for years and they're pretty phenomenal. So it's pretty simple to sign up for accounts, so I'm not really going to go into that. But once you get into your account, you're going to look here on the side and you're going to see heat maps. And so you can see that I've created 3 different heat maps, one for the home page, the portfolio page, and the services page. And so what the heat map is going to, everything that's happening here is actually recording your website when people go to your website. And so the heat map tells you where people are clicking, where people are scrolling, things like that. The recordings is actually showing you everything that the mouse does. So it tracks the movement of the mouse, it tracks the clicks, so you can see when a person clicks. One of the things, a little quirk about the actual recordings is if someone navigates to another page or navigates to a different piece of software, it doesn't accurately reflect that. So sometimes you'll see the mouse just going all haywire and you're like, well, what the fuck is that? Well, that's them not even looking at your website. That's what that is. But for the most part, whenever a user is engaged into your website, you can actually see where they're going and what they're doing and stuff like that. So it's pretty awesome. The next one is a funnel. So if you've ever looked at marketing as a whole, it starts as a sales funnel. Let's see. So I'll just pull up a picture real quick. This is fucking perfect. Okay, this right here. So this would be your sales funnel. So this is where people start at the top. You're catering to a wide audience, and as they gain interest, they're turning into a lead, a warm lead, a hot lead, and then a customer. And so as they climb through that funnel, you can see it's going from blue, which is considered cold, to red, which is considered hot. So that's a good example of what a funnel is. And so here in HotJar, when we're talking about a funnel, we're talking about the path in which customers take from one page to another. So you can see here, this is a 2-step funnel. This one here's a 3-step funnel. This one here's a 4-step funnel. So there's a whole lot of different stuff that you can do with that. And once you get in here and tinker with it, you can actually figure out how to set it up. There's actually some complex features that go into this. And if anyone needs help doing that, I can gladly help you set that up, because there's some developer specific stuff in here sometimes. But nonetheless, it's not too complicated. The next one is forms. And so I have not actually created any forms because I don't use HotJar for forms. And then you have incoming feedback. So you can actually get emoji-based feedback through HotJar. Then you also have polls that you can take, and then surveys as well. So all of this is built into one system. And so why does any of this matter? Here's why. I'll show you. Here is my home page right here. This is my actual live website right now, June 24th, 2020. This is it. So you can see this is exactly what people are going to experience. I can already tell I got issues. Don't even worry about that. I'm in the process of fixing all that. But you can see this is my website. It's pretty, I like it. I mean, it's got some quirks about it, but for overall, it's fairly decent. It has a nice look to it, right? But none of that really matters to me, because the only thing that matters is how my customers perceive this website. So that's where this heat map comes into play. So on the home page, I'm going to view heat map. And right out the gate, it's showing, here we have device, and this is showing 59 page views on desktop, 7 of them on mobile. And then right now we're looking at the clicks. Then we have the move, which tracks the movements and pauses of the mouse. And then you have the scroll, which is pretty freaking sweet. And I'll do that in a minute. But the clicks here, I can see exactly where people are clicking, and it tells me right here, it says 1 click. Here I have 1 click, 2 clicks, 1 click. So that tells me that percentage there is based on the number of people who have actually clicked, and that distributes that percentage to that area. But another thing you can see is if we scroll down, You can definitely see this is still my website. One thing I found interesting here was I have these numbers here, and they're not a link, but people are still clicking on them as if they were a link. So something that I could do to reduce the bounce rate, something that I could do is I could write a blog post about strategizing a project or designing a project or developing and supporting a project. I could write blog posts about these specific things and I can manually link them up. And then what's going to happen? They're going to be taken to another page where they can read more about that. It's going to keep them on the website longer. And that's the whole point of all of this. You keep them on the website longer, you get them more interested. You get them more interested, they're liable to come back, they're liable to take actions based on the specific goals and parameters that you're tracking. So that's the beautiful thing here. And aside from the click though, this scroll, oh my God, I love this heat map here. I really, really love it. As soon as I put my mouse over the page, it tells you 100% of visitors have reached this point. Say, what? Okay, well, if every visitor is in the hero part of the website, of course they're going to reach that point. And as soon as you start scrolling, you can see that shade of red changing. And right here, at the point of where this hero ends, that changes 98.3%. So that means before anyone has scrolled, I have lost 2.7% of people. That's not that big, and it's not something to worry about for me because 2%, that's nothing, right? But that could be a big 2% if you're having 100,000 people view your website and 2,000 of them are not actually getting past the hero. That could be a problem. And then as we scroll down, you can see right here, this changes from 98.3 to 78%. So now I'm at the first two wheels down, and I've lost 22% of my audience. That is huge. What does that tell me? That tells me this paragraph section right here needs to be changed. It needs to be changed to something that connects with the audience and gets them to continue scrolling down. And that's something that I need to do. So right here it says average fold. So this is about where your average customer is going to get, is this yellow section here. Because as soon as we get past that, it starts to drop 71%. Down here in this strategy section, I'm already down to less than 70%. And as we scroll down even more, it just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. And that's not really that good. And quite frankly, I haven't even followed my own advice to clients for the past several years. As a developer, it's hard for me to work on my own website, and many other developers have this same problem. I could do some gangster shit for a client, but I have a hard time working for myself. It's a weird dynamic, but in the past couple of weeks, I've started actually, I have started listening to my own advice. And that's actually when I actually had never set up HotJar for myself. So this has only been running for 2 weeks. And so now I have all of this data that I can use and analyze and incorporate into a strategy. So here, by the time I'm down to resources, is where I talk about the books that I released. I'm already at 48.5% or 45.8% of people left. So less than half of the people here. Let's see, where's 50? There you go, 50%. It's marked on the side. So only 50% of people find out that we have books that we've released. What the hell? So this entire section here that talks about our strategy and our process That's a huge buzzkill. I can see that because step one, it drops. It drops when it gets here. It drops on the next one. It drops on the next one. It drops on the next one. And by the end of that, half of people are done. So that tells me that right out the gate, I have 2 pain points I need to fix. I need to fix my strategy section and the paragraph above that. As we keep scrolling down, though, you can see that as we get to the blog post section, we're left with 33%. So we're down to a third of people. As we keep going, our testimonials, we're down to 32%. Getting you started, we're down to 25%. And contact us, still 25. So right here, 22% of customers reach the footer. And if they actually mouse down to the end of the page, 20%. So only 22% of people are actually getting to the end of my homepage. That is insane. And so all of this stuff paints a pretty vivid picture. I need to focus on this paragraph here, where a lot of people drop off initially. And I also need to focus on this process section where we lose the rest of the first half of everyone. And so that once I fix those two, then I'll let this run for a little bit and I'll come back and check it again, see if anything's improved. This is the whole process of conversion rate optimization. You analyze what you have first, you make a change, you test it some more. It's doing well, it's doing bad, you make a change, you test it some more. So you keep modifying you make small changes. You make one change at a time and see how it affects everything. If it's good, you make another change and see how it affects everything. So you have to keep constantly checking and changing things to keep improving those percentages. So this is just a heat map, and that's the first one. We also have recordings. So here it's showing me exactly what page people are going to, how many pages they visited, how long they were on the website, and how long ago it was. Then on this side, it shows us the country where they're from. And so this user ID is just to keep them anonymous. But I mean, I see a lot of United States. Here's one from the Philippines. There's one from Canada. Here's one I've never seen, Nigeria. Didn't know I had people from Nigeria. But he was on our homepage for 26 seconds. Let's see what that guy did. So we'll just click the play button. And you make sure you click this skip pauses. So you can see that's the mobile version of the site. He scrolled down. You see that. Scroll down some more and then close it. So this guy was on the entire website for 26 seconds and he'll probably never come back. So that's crazy. But then you have stuff like this, 21 minutes on one page. I don't know. There's no way. That's probably a miscalculation because I've been working on my website a lot lately, and you can see this is fairly recently as well. And it's 6 p.m., which is a prime time for me to work on my website. So don't know, but this one here, better proposals, really is better. We'll click on that one real quick and just kind of go through. Make sure you activate skip pauses. So I can see this guy scrolling through my blog post. He's reading it because he's scrolling slow. That's what's happening. He's going through the screenshots, scrolling. Looks like he got to a point and he is almost given up, but he's still here. Started over for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he refreshed the page. But we're seeing exactly what the person is doing while they're on the website. And so this is really, really interesting to see exactly how people are interacting with the website. It's throwing me off. Um, so it's really interesting to see how people are interacting with your website, and you can use this type of information to attempt to make somewhat educated decisions on what to do. So if you guys have any questions on how to actually set this up, I mean, it's really simple, but I already have it set up, so it's kind of counterproductive for me to remove it and then add it back. But um, I'll do another video and I'll throw it up on YouTube for how to actually set up HotJar and get started. And I'll post that in the Warrior Council as well. But I mean, this software is free. You can't beat this for free. And so if you guys definitely want to improve your website, this is one of the tools that you should definitely be looking into. So that's all that I have for this video today, guys. Just swan dive right in. I mean, it's a learning curve. It's a process. It's something that you have to work with over a period of time, but nonetheless, it's really important. And so if you guys need anything, I'm here. Other than that, guys, have a good day. And as Stephen Kuhn says, it's all about the quality of life.